as I sit here in my pyjamas after having got a good night's rest, and with my voice slightly breaking, I think about my dear friend Ryan Anthony. I killed him, and I killed him with this weapon. But not a day goes by when I don't regret my decision. He was a close friend, he was brave. He kept on reviewing James until his last breath. He didn't even know he'd been shot until after the review. And his final word, Key Grey, telling us all about his favourite YouTuber, why. He will be missed. He was a good friend and shouldn't really have killed him, to be honest.
Hey, Will?
Ah! Ryan! That's impossible. How did you survive?
I'm not alive, Will. Your guilt will forever consume you. I'm haunting you.
No, this is not happening to me!
Yes, it is, you fucking murderer. Now it's time for us to review Season 17. Season 17 is a great season. By no means the best Brenner season, but it's not the worst. But there was never an outstanding episode. The only great ones that come to mind are Bill or Ben, Henry's Hero, and Switch. The rest of the episodes were good, okay, or downright terrible. Some episodes could be compared to Miller, while some are at Season 20 standards.
Controversial opinion, but I believe that it is the best season of the Brenner era and one of the best of all time. Sure, the best of Season 20 is better, but the worst of Season 17 was just 1 or 2 episodes, while Season 20 cursed us with the 3 steam engines Gruff and ST. We do not mention its name. The music, characters and stories are top-notch this season, and I believe it is the most underrated piece of Thomas media.
The stories in this season are very simplistic. I'd go as far as saying they're as simplistic as Season 1. Simplistic isn't bad, but I would have liked more creative and experimental content. Season 18 isn't a perfect example of this. They were experimental without being big world, big adventures. The writing team was new, so I don't blame them, but they could have done better on this. Some episodes have plots that couldn't work no matter how well you executed them, like Steamie Stafford, The Lost Puff, and The Phantom Express. It doesn't mean I didn't enjoy these episodes, I just can't call them good.
Going off what the ghost of Ryan said, the stories are simplistic, but simplistic can be good. To play it safe with no experiments and great stories was what they needed to do to make sure the fans watched after the Sharon Miller era. Not that fans are given a second thought now. While simplistic, I'd say 97% of the episodes this season were all incredible in their own special way. For a first season, the writing team absolutely killed it. In my opinion, there's only one sucker this season, but I'll get to that in worst episodes.
I'm glad they didn't just abandon the Miller-era characters that had potential. Hero, Stafford, Scruff. The ones they took out were the logging logos, but I'm fine with that. Some were a flop, like Stafford, and some were amazing, like Hero. Some were mixed, like Charlie and Scruff. The returnees were flipping amazing. Bill and Ben are the most well-executed returnees in the show. Harvey was also great. Ark did a splendid job on his render. Harvey had some good episodes as well, but I prefer the latter. Overall, this season had a great usage of characters.
The characters were very strong this season. My boy Henry got some much-needed character growth and development in Henry's Hero. 7 of the Steam Team characters were the most in character they've been since the classic series. Especially James in the Smelly Kipper, Gordon in the Frozen Turntable, and Thomas in Santa's Little Engine. Several characters returned this season. While Duck was fan service, it wasn't as pandering as his appearance in Season 18. He had 1 episode and a 10-second scene. Bill and Ben were brought back perfectly and in character. Their interactions with other engines and each other were great. Harvey's return was fine and Gone Fishing was a very good episode. As for the new character introduced this season, Porter, he's alright, but I'd say there are better characters to come out of the Brenner era.
The music is flipping amazing in this season, some of the best in the CGI series. I will give it the second best music for the CGI series next to Season 20. My favorite piece, ironically, is the grand theme from Steamie Stafford. It's super catchy and I can't get it out of my head. Some runner-ups were Charlie's theme from Not Now Charlie, the rendition of the grand theme in the Afternoon Tea Express, Winston's Runaway theme, Scruff's theme, and Hero's theme. I've never heard a piece of music in this season I didn't enjoy.
I really enjoyed the music this season, especially the piece that is played when Winston runs off without a driver. The grand theme is, well, grand. Robert and Peter Hardshawn really kill it with the music. In fact, you know what? We're playing the grand theme in the next bit. Oh, what's that? The Tuggster Intensifies doesn't let you use his music? Well, I doubt he asked Robert and Peter for permission, mates.
The best episode, in my opinion, is Bill or Ben. This episode captures Bill and Ben's characters so perfectly. This really reminds me of the Diesel, but it was more expanded. It was funny how, even after he was painted blue, he played a trick on the Steamworks people, then another one on Connor, and this episode was full of surprises. It wasn't predictable at all, and everything was so pleasant, so enjoyable. All their tricks were thought out and clever, and it was overall enjoyable, unlike the worst episode in this season.
My personal favourite episode of the season is Wayward Winston. Winston running off without his driver gave me Thomas Comes to Breakfast vibes, and I loved the chase scene. Winston is very relatable, as I too would be annoyed if my driver had no idea what he was doing. Also, I really enjoy the opening and closing themes of this episode. Other favourites include Henry's Hero, Santa's Little Engine, Bill or Ben, and Percy's Lucky Day.
The worst episode by far was Shitty Stafford. Stafford doesn't get attention by kids because he doesn't make noises. Well, Stafford, boo-hoo for you. I feel so sad. You're such a relatable character. Obvious sarcasm is obviously obvious. Thomas and Percy teach Stafford how to make steam engine noises with his mouth. Wait, hold the fuck up. Who pitched this piece of trash? This is also poorly executed. Oh, and then Stafford pulls a train and yells and scares some sheep. And he learns that he's quiet and he's useful and special, and they teach a moral of being yourself and not wanting to be someone else. You know, the Great Race does that, but like 10 times better. This is the worst episode of the season, no argument.
My personal least favourite episode is Steamie Stafford. The ghost of Ryan said anything I could have said, but at least it had the grand theme at the beginning, so even the worst episode of season 17 has redeeming qualities. Where's yours, saving time? Also, I would like to mention another episode that I don't think is terrible, but I also don't like. No Snow for Thomas. It is a billion times better than Thomas, Emily and the Snowplow, and I kind of like the fact that the writing team kind of redid that episode. It's basically got very similar plots. Sort of made a remake of Thomas, Emily and the Snowplow about 10 times better. However, Emily in this episode is a massive bitch. Don't believe me? You're going to type your unnecessarily hating on Emily comments? Well, let me explain. Emily goes to Thomas's shed to gloat that she's having more fun than him and she's pulling Annie and Clarabelle, but he won't be able to do that, so fuck him. You are such a horrible bitch, Emily. I'm not even paraphrasing here. That's exactly what happens in the episode. Fuck this bitch. I think it's time to play the late Ryan's greatest hit.
There's no one quite like Emily. Terrible, bitchy Emily. You don't need to ask her twice if you want some shit advice. All those who know Emily know she's an epitome. She's got that certain I'm a fuck. Yes, there's no one quite like Emily, thank God. So, season 17. What do I think of it? It was a step up from the bomb that was the Miller era. It had its good, its bad, and its ugly. The music is amazing, and the narration from that new guy, Mark Morgan, was fantastic. Season 17 isn't perfect, but nothing is. I'll give it a good old 7 out of 10.
Season 17 is amazing. A huge upgrade from the Miller seasons and anything that came after it. Mark Morgan does amazing narration, and while the animation sucks, for a company's first season it's alright. The stories, characters, writing, music, and pretty much anything is brilliant. I love Season 17, and I didn't even mention some of its milestones, being the first season with 26 episodes since Season 11, Diesel 10 appearing for the first time in an episode, which I'm not too keen on, but more on that in another video. Season 17 is awesome, and I give it a 10 out of 10. No, fuck that! A billion out of 10? Is that allowed? No, I don't care. I even think that this is the 5th best season of all time, and it's better than Season 3. And on that controversial note, this is NorthWestern 04 saying goodbye and thank you for watching for the last time, because I'm probably about to get assassinated.
Where the fuck am I?
You're all right, my friend. We have healed your gunshot wound.
Thank you. Will, you son of a bitch. It's time to get my revenge.